There are moments, rare moments, when a single question fractures the walls of everything we think we know. A question whispered in the quiet corners of forgotten libraries, murmured by explorers staring at ruins that should not be standing, and breathed by those who have looked deeper than they were ever allowed. That question is Tartaria. You see, history is supposed to be linear, ordered, a neat staircase of civilizations rising and falling. But Tartaria breaks the staircase. It rises like a phantom empire, too advanced for its time, too widespread to be ignored, yet erased so cleanly that it almost feels supernatural. Look at their architecture. Monoliths carved with a precision modern engineers envy. Look at the star-mapped city grids, the resonance chambers, the impossible domes built long before dome technology existed. Look at the free energy towers, eerily similar to Tesla's designs, but predating him by centuries. None of this should exist, and yet it does. What if the intricate buildings we call Victorian or Classical Revival were not revivals at all, but survivals? Evidence scattered across continents points to an empire that stretched across Eurasia, across North America, across places history insists were isolated. Maps older than the countries that now stand label the land simply as Tartary. Not a kingdom, not a clan, an empire. But if Tartaria existed, if it thrived with technologies we have yet to comprehend, then someone, somewhere, made the decision to bury it. And that's where the story begins. Not with the rise of the great civilization, but with the first cracks in the lies that hid it. We stand on the threshold of a truth so vast, so inconvenient, that it was swept beneath centuries of rewritten chronicles. Because Tartaria wasn't just a culture, it was a power that threatened the narrative of the world. This is the story of the empire that shouldn't have existed, and yet once ruled almost everything. Welcome to Origin Paradox. Empires fall loudly. Rome burned. Babylon crumbled. Dynasties collapsed with the roar of armies and the smoke of battles. But Tartaria died in silence. No chronicles, no memorials, no graves of kings, just a sudden absence, like an entire civilization exhaled and vanished. But silence is a sign, a warning, a void crafted, not born. What happened to Tartaria was not a fall, it was an erasure. Across the world, something strange occurred. A series of mudfloods, thick deposits of sediment that swallowed buildings halfway up their walls. Structures with windows now underground. Doorways buried beneath layers of earth. Cathedrals whose foundations extend far deeper than any architectural record admits. As if the world was smothered. And then the maps changed. The atlases printed after the 1800s quietly removed the name Tartary. Not revised, erased, as if the empire had become an inconvenience. But why? Who benefits from deleting a civilization? Some say the mudfloods were natural disasters. Others believe they were engineered, a weapon of environmental manipulation, a reset, a way to wipe away a world that had mastered energy, harmony, and engineering far beyond its time. Children became ruins. Ruins became myths. Myths became forbidden questions. And the survivors, if any lived, were absorbed into new nations, stripped of identity, stripped of memory, folded into the rewritten timeline. Imagine watching your empire drown beneath a tide of engineered earth, your libraries sealed in mud, your technologies labeled impossible, your name purged from the story of mankind. This was not a collapse. This was a burial. One so perfect that it took centuries for anyone to even notice.
But truth, real truth, does not die. It waits, and in the quiet dawn of our modern age, something began to stir. Old maps resurfaced. Ancient schematics were discovered beneath museums, mislabeled, forgotten. Photographs emerged of buildings half buried, impossibly ornate, eerily uniform across continents that never met. The world began to awaken. Whispers turned into questions. Questions turned into investigations. Investigations turned into a movement. Researchers, explorers, and ordinary people began to piece together a picture that had been shattered deliberately. A picture of an empire built not on conquest, but on resonance, geometry, and natural energy. A civilization that understood the earth as a living system, that built cities like instruments, that aligned structures to frequency, that treated architecture as a form of communication with the cosmos. Such a civilization would change everything we know about history, technology, even human potential. And that, perhaps, is why it was erased. But now, as the pieces return, as hidden archives open, as digital archaeologists resurrect the lost world of Tartaria, the truth rises again. Maybe survivors of Tartaria walked among later generations, passing fragments of knowledge in symbols, in architecture, in whispered traditions that defy explanation. Maybe the empire didn't fully die. Maybe it simply went underground, waiting for an age when humanity was finally ready to see it. The truth, buried in mud, is surfacing. The echoes, silenced by time, are speaking. And the empire, erased from history, is stepping back into the light. Because some civilizations vanish, but others return.
In the end, the dust settles, the echoes fade, and we are left standing at the edge of a truth older than memory itself. The Tartarians, whether erased, forgotten, or sacrificed to the hunger of time, left behind more than ruins, more than myths. They left a question that refuses to die. What else have we been taught to forget? Because every fragment recovered, every buried monolith, every impossible structure rising from the silence of the past, points toward a civilization that once shaped the world in ways our textbooks will never admit. So, as you walk away from this story, remember this: history is not a timeline. It is a battleground, a place where truth is guarded, edited, and sometimes erased. And someday, when the last veil falls, the world will finally see that the Tartarian Empire was never a legend. It was a warning.